Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. My name is Yonathan, and I'm a 5th grade student from the International School of IIT. And for my PYP exhibition, I am talking about climate change. But why climate change? You see, ever since I came here to Ibadan, I have realized that it is a very hot city. And on top of that, there are way too many cars in Ibadan. Way too many cars producing carbon dioxide and even carbon monoxide, and making the earth hotter and hotter, at the same time contaminating the air that we breathe. And whenever I went into town, I always got sick and tired easily. So I thought, maybe, just maybe, I could do my own little part to help reduce this problem, which was climate change. So, my transdisciplinary theme is sharing the planet. My central idea is human and natural activities affect the environment. My lines of inquiries are how the environment changes, how living organisms adapt to the environmental conditions, and the importance of sustainable practices. My key concepts are change, causation, and function. My learner profiles are balanced, risk-taker, communicator, and inquirer. My approaches to learning skills are research skills and communication skills. Before I continue, what is climate change? Climate change is basically the long term of shifts of temperature. But what does that mean? That means that when we are releasing these toxic gases, such as carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, sulfur, methane into the air, we're making the earth hotter and hotter. But how? You see, normally the sun's radiation is able to escape the earth after touching it. But these toxic gases do not allow the sun's radiation to escape, thus making the earth hotter and hotter. Next, what are the different causes of climate change? There are so many causes of climate change, but a few of the major ones are global warming, deforestation, and pollution. First of all, what is global warming? Global warming is when we are releasing toxic gases into the air and making the earth hotter and hotter. Next, what is deforestation? Deforestation is the chopping down of trees. But why are trees important? Trees are important because they help absorb the carbon dioxide that we make and turn it into oxygen, which is the air that we need to breathe in. Next, what is pollution? Pollution is the contamination of water, land, and air. First of all, what is water pollution and how does it affect the earth? Water pollution is when we are contaminating the water, and it affects the temperature because normally the ocean is able to absorb the carbon dioxide that we produce and turn it into oxygen. But due to water pollution, the ocean can no more do that. Next, land pollution. Here's a fact about plastic that we throw around. Did you know that 3% of all greenhouse gases that we make come from plastic? Next, what is air pollution? Air pollution is when we are releasing toxic gases into the air. These toxic gases contaminate the air that we breathe, at the same time make the earth hotter and hotter. To investigate deeper into my focus, I was privileged to interview the Deputy Director General of Corporate Services in the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, Mrs. Hilda Coppa. I was also able to interview Mr. Abioye, who is the Monitoring, Evaluation, and Learning Manager in IITA. I asked both of them a few of the same questions. One of the questions that I asked them was, how is IITA helping reduce the amount of climate change there is in the world? From Mrs. Hilda Coppa, I learned that IITA tries their best to use solar power, and IITA also produces crops that had been destroyed by droughts due to climate change in other parts of Africa. From Mr. Abioye, I learned that IITA has seeds that can grow through any type of environmental condition, which means that IITA can plant trees, and crops at any type of environmental conditions anywhere. Next, I investigated deeper into my lines of inquiries. My first line of inquiry is how the environment changes. But how does the environment change? The environment changes in both negative and positive ways. The negative ways can be when more greenhouse gases are being released into the air and more trees are being chopped down. For the past 2 years, unfortunately, it has been changing the negative ways. We have only been releasing toxic gases into the air, and we have been chopping down trees. And the amount of trees being chopped down has been increasing every single year. And ever since the industrial times 2 centuries ago in the 1800s, it has risen by 1 degree Celsius. And if we do not stop our daily activities, it can rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius. And by 2040, it can rise to 2 degrees Celsius. But our government's goal is to reach 2 degrees Celsius at least by the end of this century. But it has not been going well for the past years. Next, my next line of inquiry is how living organisms adapt to the environmental conditions. Living organisms have to adapt to the environmental conditions. A few of them do adapt, while the rest don't. A few of them that adapt are like the bears, the wolves, and the rabbits, who hibernate when it is too cold for them outside. And other animals, such as the crocodiles, hibernate in water when it is too hot for them. And us human beings have created inventions to avoid the environmental conditions. For example, the air conditioner, the heaters, the clothing, and shelters. My next line of inquiry is the importance of sustainable practices. Sustainable practices are important because they help preserve the earth and make it a better place to live in. Without these sustainable practices, in the next century or less, we might have to start looking for a new planet that will sustain our life. Going deeper into my focus, I thought of the things that I could do to help reduce climate change. So, I took a few actions. My first action was planting trees. I also created a YouTube channel advocating for climate change. And I also went to the 3rd grade class of my school and presented to them a PowerPoint slide. Before I presented the PowerPoint slides, I did a pre-assessment to them where they drew what they thought when they first heard climate change. And these are a few of the drawings that they made. As an action, I also made a 3D model representing the Earth. But this globe is not the normal Earth that you know. This Earth is heating up due to climate change. And I also made the paper at the bottom blue, showing that the ocean has evaporated due to climate change. So in conclusion, we are all a part of it. We have made the earth worse, but we can still make it a better place. I believe if we work together, we can make the earth a better place for you, for me, and the entire human race. So, please join me in this fight against climate change. Thank you for listening to my presentation.